Good morning. It's Wednesday, which means my children are around, and that means anything could happen. Hang on. Come on, let's do this. This. My Streamlabs remote is failing to work. That's okay, I can just do this instead. Cha-ching! Welcome to the madhouse. On Wednesday, when my children are around and anything could happen, anyone could burst in at any moment. I'm very glad you cannot see the floor of my room. You can only see here upwards. You even see this arm. You can see that arm, not that arm. You can only see here upwards, which is messy. If you think that's messy, you should see what's down there. It's pretty bad. We are here on Wednesday morning to continue looking through the incremental versions of the Gutenberg plugin in WordPress, find out what's new in the block editor. These have been running at about 25 minutes, which is too long really. I waffle too much like I'm doing right now, so let's try and keep it short and sweet, and maybe we can get 2 versions of Gutenberg plugin in. That would be a thing. I doubt that will happen, but we can try. I'm wondering if... No, I'm not. It's fine. So step 1, as always, is to go and upgrade the Gutenberg plugin. So here we are on my remote server. We use the WordPress command line to run the plugin update, which is wp plugin update Gutenberg -- version equals, and we're looking at 7.9.0 today. Why doesn't my remote... my remote work. It does work. That's exciting. It definitely wasn't. I've got my mobile phone down here, which is like my little streaming remote control with an app on it, which connects to Streamlabs, which is running the stream. And it has all these buttons so I can do stuff on here by pressing the buttons on my mobile. And it wasn't working, and now it is, which is very odd. So we have upgraded the plugin. Let's just go and check. So sometimes when I do this, it lets me update the minor version. And today it's not letting me. I wonder if that's because there isn't a... Like there was a 7.7.1. These are the release notes or the released versions in the GitHub repository for Gutenberg. So there was a 7.7.1. I think there was a 7.7.2, and yesterday we looked at 7.8.0, and it wasn't offering us an incremental upgrade, so I'm guessing there wasn't a 7.8. Oh, there was a 7.8.1, and now it's not offering us an incremental update from 7.9. Does that mean there wasn't a 7.9.1? There was a 7.9.1. So I wonder why it used to allow us an incremental upgrade. Just if you're familiar with GitHub, then the releases page for the Gutenberg plugin isn't enormously helpful because it includes releases for all of the individual components. And I don't know if there's a way to narrow this down to just the release. I suppose what we could do, if I wanted to check for minor releases as well, which is a kind of useful thing to do, is we could go to wordpress.org/plugin/Gutenberg, and then we could see the release history here. In development, we should be able to see a changelog. Read the changelog for Gutenberg 8.4. Please navigate to the release page, which takes us back to GitHub, which is only going to give us the changelog for 8.4. I really want to like a reasonable way of seeing what minor releases there were for a major release that doesn't involve me just going up from 790 to 791 to 792 until I get a 404 page. But we can do this. If that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do. Interesting, we're getting this warning out of WP CLI. Declaration of the feedback method in the upgrader skin class should be compatible with, presumably, so this is WP CLI's upgrader skin. This should be compatible with presumably WordPress Core's upgrader skin, which has this additional weird arguments thing. Interesting. Anyhow, this is why these things take 25 minutes, isn't it? Because I go off down all these rabbit holes. And that's copied into there. Let's get rid of that. Right, so we've got 791. Yay, right. So we're up to date with 7.9. Let's go see what's in 7.9. So this is the WordPress Tavern excellent summary release post for Gutenberg plugin version 7.9. Let's see what Justin tells us we've got today. Justin Tadlock is the author, one of the authors on WP Tavern. Blah, blah, blah. New typography related controls for blocks, extra patterns for testing, and even more work toward a lighter DOM for theme authors. New typography related controls for blocks. Let's have a look at that. More work on full site editing. Several tweaks to the user interface. Actually, this is going to be easier. Justin's a bit waffly today. Sorry, Justin. I love you and I love your Gutenberg summary posts. But I'm going to go straight to the release notes today. Where were we? Releases / tag / v7.9. 790. Add gradients support to group columns and media and text blocks. Now, I've not played with group column, so what does that do? I'm aware that there is a group column. Sorry, is it group column? Group block. We know about media and text blocks. So I'm going to use this as an excuse to go and find out what group blocks do. This is a 7.9 post. Why does this look big? Oh, that's okay. Group block. So if I click, let's see what happens if I click this. See, this still tucks up under here, which is kind of annoying. This is a better inserter if you're looking for blocks because it gives you a preview of the block and a description of the block. Yes, it does. So what does the group block do? It groups other blocks. Nice. What's the point of that, I wonder? Well, I suppose in this case, the point is that we can give a bunch of blocks the same background gradient. So the group lets us go full width, wide width, or... So that's annoying. It doesn't have normal width. You have to like unselect wide width. Don't like that UI. But that's not anything new with Gutenberg if you've been following along. And then you've got this issue of, well, how do I select the block? Because now if I'm clicking here, I'm getting insert block, but I want, how do I get the options for the group block? What astounds me about this is that, you know, I'm a fairly smart person, I like to think, and like I'm fairly IT literate. And I come along to this stuff sometimes and I think, if I'm finding an issue like this within a minute of inserting my first group block, then how does anyone that's like not super IT literate use it? So I've got to go to this little block navigation thing to access the group and then change this again. Anyway, so I can put in here, what should we put in here? Let's try and do some quote. There was a young man from Swindon. That's where I live. Swindon doesn't rhyme with anything, so you can't make a limerick out of it. But that will do. Citation. That'll do. So we've got a quote in our block, and then we'll just add a paragraph underneath. Oh, no. Come on. See, now I want to add another block inside the group, and I'm stuck. This will, I have to keep telling myself this will get better. No, so, what about that? Paragraph? No, we're just adding paragraphs underneath here. I swear my superpower is breaking the block editor. Swindon is full of lovely roundabouts. Did you know that? So I now want to drag and drop. So to drag and drop, I need to hold this. Can I get this inside the group? There are voices. I may be interrupted. No. Now I'm wondering if I even created a group. Oh, they're both in. Oh, I've got a paragraph inside my group. That's inside the group. There's no indication whatsoever that I'm inside the group. So I should then be able to drag and drop that in between these two. So frustrating. What about if I type something here? Can I then drag that? No. So it looks like I can't drag and drop into the group. And when I click that up arrow, it just navigated around the group. So I have no idea how you get stuff into the group other than by chance. That paragraph is in the group. So anyway, we're here to I want to love Gutenberg, I really do. We're here to try out background gradients on the group. Color settings. Oh, look, here we go. Text color. So I can change the text color, and that affects both the quote and the paragraph. So that kind of does what you would expect. Hooray, something does what I would expect it to. And then I can give it a background color, or I can give it a background gradient. And I can choose, ooh, that's pretty horrible. Unless my text color is light. Interesting, you can't, we had this with links the other day. When you change the text color, it's just changing the text color. It's not giving you any kind of like text color theme. So my citation hasn't been updated to something useful. And if this had a link in it, I'm guessing this also would look very wrong. Oh no, it's just underlined it there. Okay, so that's not so bad. But we did have problems with like changing the color of text, and then, or do we change a background color and the link was still the blue or whatever it is, and we didn't have the contrast that I wanted. Right, oh, now I've got to get back to editing the group. Ah, I can edit the group. That's interesting. So, and then we can change all sorts of stuff about this gradient, such as the angle. Yeah, okay. And then the type. We can do a, yeah, that's kind of neat. I wouldn't let my clients play with it. I don't think that's a setting that I would want to discourage people from using on a site that I had made for them. But that's good. Sorry, we went off down several different tangents on that one. So we've got gradient support. We've tried out the group block, and we kind of understand what the group block is for, though navigating groups and adding. So that's quite nice like that. Navigating groups and adding stuff into groups is not necessarily quite there yet as I would want it to be. Add line height support to the paragraph block. So let's add a little bit more text here. Okay, and then we've got line height. Great. So I can tighten that up if I want to. Yep, nice. But again, not something I would want a client to play with. I want to set these things for them when I build their theme and not have them go and make a big mess of everything. Add font size support to the heading block. Okay, yeah, that's good. So we can add. I want to add a paragraph above here. Heading. Cool. Then let's put that back at the top. And then what we have font size, do we? Small, regular, large, larger, custom, 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 custom. Doesn't tell me what units that's in. Is that pixels? M's? No. Be nice if that told me what units that was in. And we can control the line height of a heading as well. Now that's nice, but all my controls for the formatting of my heading are up here. So why is my text size and line height over here when the rest of the controls are over here? Kind of feel that's a bit inconsistent. But that's good. Line height support, we just played with that too. Add custom height unit support to the cover block. This is an excuse. Where are we? We're at 20 minutes. This is an excuse to go and look at the cover block, which I've also not used. So let's add in here cover. This is like what most people would call a hero section, I think. So let's move this up. I can't move it up above the title. Huh. What's in my media library? Nothing. Right, give me a moment. Let's just go and upload something, anything. Kind of surprised it doesn't come with like some default content or something. Just choosing a picture that's kind of nondescript and will work as a background and that isn't of me. That'll do. Tip for WordPress users, if you're watching, let's put the alt text in. This is a media library, and so we can specify properties about the items that are in the media library, and many people forget this. It's uploading very slowly. Oh joy. Server does not have, it's not that big a picture. Let's try again. Hopefully the server was busy, and if I try it again, this picture is how big? 3.2 meg. It's not huge, but maybe WordPress just doesn't like it. Or my shared hosting is too busy. The stream has not stalled. The website has stalled. No, it doesn't want. Right, I'm gonna have to find something smaller. Nothing's ever easy. Here's a smaller version of the same image. That is only, it's only 148k, so it's not going to make a great cover image. But, so let's give it a title so that we can find it again. View of my garden at night. And we'll put that in the alt text as well. So this is really handy to fill this in, because if I ever want to reuse this image, then I can come here and type view of garden or whatever, and it will find it. And a lot of people just forget to, they just leave the DSC number or IMG number or whatever. This isn't going to make a great cover image because it's really low resolution, but there we go. And then I can type over this. And I thought you could add more elements. Can you like add blocks into the header? Do something. So yeah, so you can add this. I want to center that. Oh, come on. I can't center the buttons in the block. That's a oh, right. That's a line centered. Seriously, this is why. Oh, that's an alignment, is it? So if I've got text, that is the icon for alignment. And if I've got some block thing, that's the icon for alignment. Be helpful if they were the same, wouldn't it? User interface teardown live streams. Right, but that's kind of cool. Now I'm guessing we can also make this full width. Now what does that look like? 'Cause it's still going to put the title at the top, isn't it? Let's preview in a new tab. Yeah, so you're kind of, it's kind of expecting there to be a page template that doesn't include the title and stuff. This needs to be the first thing. Or you could put these throughout your post, I suppose, if you wanted to. That cover block is quite nice though, aside from its little interface quirks. So, and custom height unit support to the cover block. So that's what got added. I was supposed to be doing this quickly, wasn't I? And we're already 25 minutes. So if I select my cover block, I can do minimum height of cover. Minimum height will be 100. I want to specify the maximum height. Do I? No, because I want to contain the content, whatever the content is. And so what's really useful here is it gives me the option of viewport width and viewport height units. So I can make this a minimum of, say, 20% of my viewport height. Now what's annoying is that text is too high up. So what I've no idea is you probably need to put like a spacer block in order to move this text around. I still don't have a way though to put a block above the current block without inserting it after using this spacer. Why's I got a white background? Oh my goodness, come on. So I can put a spacer in. Oh, it's disappeared. Oh, it's only a spacer when I can, it's only white when I'm editing it, so I can see how big it is. Right, okay, that's good. But confusing the first time you use it, right? But there's no way to like vertically center this stuff within the cover block. Oh, right. Gosh, it's hard work, isn't it? And so we looked at that custom height unit support. That's great. New patterns. So block patterns are groups of blocks. And did they also, just refreshing my memory, I'd wondered if they'd pulled the block patterns library sidebar in yet. I don't think they did. So this is block patterns, and they are preset groups of blocks. So what did we get? Hero 2 columns. Oops, come on. Numbered features, and it's time. So that's interesting. So as well as a cover block, we've got a cover block pattern. Perhaps that uses the cover block, possibly. Got 2 images side by side, the hero section with 2 columns. Wonder if that also uses the cover block, possibly. Numbered features and its time. I want to know what its time does. Pattern its time inserted. Where is it? Its time. This must be some jazz cultural reference that I don't understand. Don't quite know what that is supposed to do. Add a new keyboard shortcut to toggle full screen mode. Just disable it and be done with it. Insert post title instead of URL when adding a link to an existing post. Don't know what that is. Social links block. Just some minor updates there. Allow reusable block top and bottom paddings to collapse. No idea what that is. Update all block previews to use the auto hype behavior. So that's the block previews, I'm guessing, are what you get when you do this. So that sounds like a little improvement. Disable autocomplete for custom class name inputs. So custom class name inputs are presumably where you... Oh, no, go away. When you can go over to... Not that one, that one. And I've got 3 icons here, and I don't know what any of them do. So I can specify a custom class. So this was previously auto-completing something, which is interesting. I wonder what the list of things it was auto-completing from was. Several small tweaks to the new block UI. Unify focus styles. Improve block focus style. Remove the post permalink UI from the post title. That's already been moved to over here anyway. So this is the post permalink UI. That used to appear when you clicked on the title. It used to pop up. So that's now been completely removed. Style the default toolbar buttons. Okay, style tweaks to the patterns library sidebar. Smaller space between toolbar and block. Performance, bug fixes. So, oh gosh, there's lots of stuff in experiments as well. Post comments block. So this is in full site editing, which we've seen before if you've watched previous streams. But if you have the Gutenberg plugin installed, you get a new Gutenberg menu. Let's save this as draft so I don't get a little pop-up asking me to save or not. And you can go to experiments and you can enable a bunch of things. Ooh, enable navigation screen. No idea what that is. We'll turn all these on. But you can enable full site editing. And you can then go to so enable navigation screen must be this here. Hang on a minute. I used to have full site editing in this list and now it's gone. Site editor, they've moved it off to its own little menu here. And so this lets you edit the layout of your site, and you can add templates. You can add templates. So I can edit my single or my front page, or I can add a new template for archive or whatever your normal WordPress theme template file would be, and then I can edit this using blocks. It's a very, very big change to how WordPress works and does theming in particular. So that has something to do with comments, using slug as template part display label. So that's just in this list up here, I think. Remove duplicate queries fetching template parts. Preload the edited template to avoid the white page effect. Move the menu item to the top level, which is what happened down here, add block breadcrumb. So, oh, I'm not editing now. Let's go back. Presumably that means we get some indication of where in the block hierarchy we are. But I've oh, down here, I guess document image, document columns, column site title. Oh, I've missed this when I'm using block editor. This presumably lets me easily select like the columns that I'm in. Oh, look. And then the column, so I can get to the inspector settings for that rather than having to use the block navigation here. I can do that with this breadcrumb down here. It's a little thing I've not spotted before. Prevent template switcher jumpiness, increase the viewport width used, add a top level inserter, which I would imagine is this here. Apply the editor styles, update the multi-entity, small updates to template selector. New navigation screens. This is interesting. I don't know what this is for. Looks like very early stuff, and they've added a navigation block. I know we're way over time, but turns out there's quite a lot in 7.9. So we've done gradient, all the things, typography for headings and paragraphs, 3 new block patterns. Its time, output of paragraph, 2 columns, and a large paragraph that reads its time. No indication as to what that is. No real description of what this navigation stuff is. Where was that in here? Navigation. So what does this do? Edit navigation, manage locations. So this is a bit like the old menu editor, but this looks like very early. I can't even, they're just building out the user interface for it, I think. Navigation block changes, block API support, add experimental text component. Yeah, that sounds like what I do every day. Cool. So there was quite a lot there, really. Not all of it I agree with. Clearly some user interface stuff that needs to be sorted out still. But we hold up hope for those things being identified and fixed. Definitely still overall struggles here in my own chair, my own head with Gutenberg. I mean, I'm not going to be putting maybe the stable version I would put in front of a client, but just feels like there's too many issues with the user interface and with how it works and with even what it's trying to do for me to want to put this version in front of clients. But we're at 8.4 now, so we've got another 5 versions to explore in the coming days. Maybe there'll be some significant improvements in the UI that would make me a bit happier with it, but we'll just have to wait and see. Again, it's really cool kind of seeing Gutenberg develop in fast forward, day by day, getting huge chunks of development on it and to see where it's going. So thank you, viewer, for watching along with me today. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, then thanks for sticking it out for over 30 minutes. And if you're on YouTube, you can go and follow me, or whatever the word is, on Twitch. I am _magicroundabout, and then you'll get notified when I'm doing these live, which tends to be in the mornings of weekdays. And that's all the essential blurb. This has been way too long. We only looked at one version. We'll do version 8 soon. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.